The African man falls so cheap for everything European, and then you don't expect your women to do the same. Like, you are surprised when your women follow your footsteps. Now, with the recent sexual escapade of the Russian man in Africa, in Ghana and Kenya to be precise, I see African men coming out to call African women all sorts of names, calling them sluts, calling them cheap, calling them. But people are missing the point. The fact is this, that women are the first reflection of the value system, the self-esteem of men in that society. A society of men with high self-esteem, their women carry themselves with grace. The African man has programmed his daughter to see the European man as God. The African girl sees the European man as the top of the food chain, and then you're surprised when she throws away her decency when she sees an European man. You, the father, you, the uncle, you, the brother, you despise everything that makes you African. You despise African way of worship. You despise African names. You despise African medicine. You despise African history. To you, everything Africa is archaic and old. It's outdated. The African elites are the worst. They can't even educate their kids in Africa. They can't even allow their kids to live in Africa. All their kids are educated and they live in the West. And then you're surprised when your daughters fall very cheap for a man that comes from the West. Instead of looking inwards to know where the problem came from, which is a problem of self-esteem, which comes from wrong programming. We are coming out to call women all sorts of names, call African women cheap, call this one, that, this one. If it can happen in Africa, if it can happen in Kenya, in Ghana, it will obviously happen in Nigeria. It will happen in South Africa. Now you see, it is a general problem. And men are the gatekeepers in every society. If you can't gatekeep your women, if you can't instill high self-esteem in your women, then you have to take responsibility. The fact is that the African man have failed the African girl child. The African man has failed his daughter. He has raised his daughter with low self-esteem. He has raised his daughter to despise her skin color. He has raised his daughter to despise everything that makes her African. And she's looking for a way to escape. That even throwing herself to a white man just to escape Africa, she won't think it twice. If you look at that video, it is not even about the sexual escapades. It is about how happy those women were in his presence. Some were dancing, gyrating like they won a lottery. If you see how happy they were in his presence, it is not even about the sex. It's about the energy they were exuding in his presence. Like they felt they were in the presence of something so supreme. They were so happy. They were dancing. They were very cheerful. You know the low self-esteem that will make a woman who has 3 kids to be willing to throw away the marriage and the kids for a man that she just met, that she doesn't even know his name, just because he's white, just because he's European. And the father of that lady does not want to take blame. And the brother has the guts to come online to call her a slut, to call her out. If the young men of nowadays, African men, don't raise their daughters well, it will be worse. Instilling self-esteem, making your daughter love her Africanness, to take pride in being an African woman. What am I even saying? Self, you self, the father, you the brother, you're not even happy being an African man.